Good day, everybody. I'm excited for this one because this is Michael Kelly. Michael is the vice president of athletics at the University of South Florida, my alma mater. So, Michael, we share the Bulls, man. We
There you
share the
go.
Bulls, horns
I'm,
up
I'm, I'm proud
all the way around.
happy to talk to our esteemed alums. It's really good. And I'm
There
from
you
DC, so we kind of have double things in common here. So.
Yeah, we're hanging there right with each other. Michael, I gotta say, from my 40-some years in covering college sports, both as a producer, director, and at times, a writer, um, this is probably the most difficult time to negotiate and navigate your way through athletics. You've got a budget which is right around $100 million. It's, to me, amazing with the portal and NIL, all of the stuff going on. Your job must be a whole lot more different than what you thought it might have been, say, 5 or 10 years ago.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. I mean, when I came into this role just under 7 years ago, what I thought being an athletic director would be like is certainly a lot different now. But it's fascinating. I mean, it's hard. It's something you have to adjust to. You have to be nimble.
Mm-hmm.
But I find it intellectually stimulating, and I'm grateful for the support that we get both with our staff here and our administration and our coaches that are all being very adaptive and really looking for ways that we often say we're trying to be a model athletic department for modern times, because as you know, University of South Florida is a relatively young institution when only being even established in 1956. So
right.
We're all, we might be even better, better prepared or better positioned to be adaptive because we don't have centuries of tradition. We've only played football for 27 years now at the Division I level, and so it just allows us to be nimble and to adjust to it and make sure that we position ourselves well and play to our strengths. When you have an AAU institution like USF, 11th largest market like Tampa Bay,
sure,
and then just kind of a growing and I hope what's viewed as an exciting and progressive athletic department that we're really excited about. So, but you're right, the history of it. I mean, when the NCAA was established in 1906 till really about 5 or 6 years ago, it was in essence, might not have been perfect, but it was somewhat stable. If you think about it, everything was based on competitive balance and amateurism on those principles. And with the exception of maybe Title IX, coming in 72 and a handful of adjustments to postseason play and some things of that nature, it kind of stayed the same in terms of rules and really as a result of lawsuits and just adapting to more benefits that, in my view, student athletes deserve more and more of. It has caused a lot of disruption at a really condensed point of time. So it's not so much any one of the elements in and of themselves. It's the fact they're all happening together within 5 years is really, really hard. And you can talk about NIL, you want talk transfer portal. It's really been the combination of those two at the same time with limited guardrails that's really kind of caused this thing. You've gone from no free agency, if you will, ever, to now unlimited free agency with no guardrails within a 2-year period of time. So.
How does having you had two portals at one, going at one time, academically, how difficult is it for your team to navigate let's say Coach Alex Golish, who's been amazing at the USF football. When Coach Golish approaches the portal, obviously, you just said it, academics is a huge part of the University of South Florida. What helps with getting Coach Golish the players into the portal that he needs?
Yeah, it's been something that is a part of that adaptive spirit that I talked about. It's taken a great connection and communication with the academic side of campus and the administration. Not that they've always been supportive, but it took we had to be able to make sure they understood the changes that are happening here. So, for instance, to your good point on football, when you have when the transfer portal started really hitting, a lot of people would transfer after the football season's over and
Sure.
try to get them in for that early January semester to start. And I have to tell you, when I 5 years ago, that was almost impossible. I remember someone entering the portal when it first started, and could we possibly get them in before class started the next week? And our admissions officers and everything was, just out of, this isn't a criticism, that's just
Sure.
reality. They were on break, or
Mm-hmm.
they couldn't really review the resume. I mean, review the transcripts and so it really took a lot of explaining. Like, this is the way it's going to be now, and if we're able to take advantage of bringing young men and women into our athletic department in the second semester, we've got to be able to be nimble. Unfortunately, under the leadership of President Law and our board of trustees and the host and others, they've found a way to adapt, and it took admissions and the various people to have to review on the registrar's office and everything to understand that and realize that, hey, that's part of what we need help with to be successful. And we're so grateful that they've adapted, because it means people that aren't in athletics that had to take time off the holiday break or their semester and do that. But it's all been, they realize the importance and they fulfilled the mission. But that's one thing that's overlooked. And what's also overlooked is when you transfer a bunch of times, oftentimes you'll have some of the academic credits that won't transfer to whatever institution you might be going to, and you're kind of taking a step back. So we're just proud of the adaptability, and we're also proud of the academic performance of our Bulls that's continued to go to record levels, even up to the last semester, having our highest grade point average ever, and still great graduation percentage. But it's taken the help of the whole village, if you will, with the whole university.
Right.
I think fans sometimes overlook. They think, hey, it's just football and just money or this, that. It's like, no, you need the whole university to kind of be rowing the boat the same way.
Michael, you're in a conference, the American Athletic Conference, and two people I really enjoy and have been friendly with, Michael Resco, who of course, who just left, and Timmy Peretti, who just got there, are two fantastic people. I think, frankly, that the AAC doesn't get the credit it deserves for the talent and the quality of play that is going on. I mean, look at your schedule this year. I mean, you've opened with Boise State, then you go to Florida, and you go to Miami, and then you get the conference schedule.
That's right.
So it's not, anybody who thinks this is a day in the park is not paying attention.
You're very right. I have a lot of respect for the American. We're grateful to be in it. I mean, you've got, you're right, during those, even during the CFP, as it continues to expand and grow. And I know we might talk about that later, but it was for that first 10 years. I think it was 7 out of the 10 years of the first 10 years of the CFP that it was the American champion was really the one that got that, that designated spot for what's the so-called group of five. And so that kind of speaks volumes to it. And then, it continued to do well year in, year out. And that's just on the football side, obviously. For all sports, it's really done well. So I think, it's harmful in terms of the way the media's kind of just grabbed on to what they, suddenly just called the P4 or whatever. Because obviously when you look at different sports that may not be, it was kind of, that whole terminology really came about from a football standpoint.
Sure.
And the fact that it's trickled to the other sports all over is kind of a, when you look at Big East basketball or American basketball or others, is like, man, you shouldn't really be calling it anything different than what it is. This is a moniker that I hope we can shake going forward.
Yeah, it's quality is quality regardless of where it is.
No question.
And I think the talent that we all see every Saturday, if it's football, or every Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, if it's college football. Now that we've expanded things, it's very, very interesting. And of course, you also had a tragic situation in basketball with the death of a very young, very talented coach, and then having to rehire that position.
We did. As we get to a point here nearing the end of the school year here, it's been a great year on some fronts because we've had a lot of success both academically and with some championships and NCAA tournament berths and many sports. But man, we had two hurricanes kind of affected us in the fall.
Sure.
And the ultimate metaphorical hurricane when Coach Amir Abdur-Rahim passed away suddenly on us right before about a week or two before the season started. So
Right.
that was, just obviously your heart goes first to his family, and then obviously poured a lot of love into our players and our staff to try to get through a year under such circumstances, because he did an amazing thing. We had built up a lot here as a university, and
Sure.
certainly my personal interest in our university support for wanting to make us a very strong basketball school as well, because we don't have NBA in Tampa. We have a lot of great sports here in Tampa Bay, but pro sports, but we don't have that. So we kind of pride ourselves on being Tampa Bay's home for hoops. Our women, on the women's side, we've made the tournament 8 of the last 10 years. So we know we're very strong there. And 3 years ago, when I was doing a search to kind of try to just show people, hey, we've got the facilities, it can be done. It's shown on the women's side. We live in a great market. Amir came to us on faith in that regard, and was a great partner for us in that. And he proved in his very first year and his only year with us when he went out and won the regular season championship, which we had never done before. So it just kind of showed it could be done. And now when we had a chance to, conduct another search this time, and we're able to bring Brian Hodson, who's had a great career in his young career so far, and a masterful recruiter, because I think we've got a top 25 recruiting class right now. He's taking pride in seeing what Amir did and wanting to build on that legacy with his own special flair to it. So we're excited about our basketball fortunes here.
Well, I spoke with Mike Krzyzewski one time about playing in the Sun Dome.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah, and Mike said that he goes, this is a beautiful place. He goes, it's loud. He goes, but he goes, and it feels like everybody's on top of you. But if you're watching, from the stands, he goes, it's like going to a theater. He said it's not like everybody's on top of each other, yet you get that feeling of intimidation.
Yeah,
They don't get that off at a Duke. Intimidation.
Duke's an amazing atmosphere, obviously, but it's you're on top of it, and it's those in the lower benches can have a
Cameron indoor,
Cameron. But for us, when the Yangling Center was redone, renovated back in 2014, it's a wonderful facility. We've got the right kind of premium space for a pro market like ourselves. We get a great student turnout that we call the SoFlo Rodeo that Amir really gravitated to and got a lot of increased involvement with. But as was witnessed during our championship run a year ago, when we were selling that thing out throughout the month of February, it was a tough place to play, and we loved it. It was great atmosphere, and we look forward to bringing that back again.
Let's talk now. Shift gears. You guys have invested a great deal of money in building a broadcast center, and that broadcast center now allows you to produce a number of events. Let's talk about your relationship in developing that broadcast center and how it helps your TV partners like ESPN.
Well, sometimes when things happen so quickly, as we've been talking about, Jim, when I take a look back, that's probably really been one of the more meaningful things that we've done to help expand our brand and to make more people aware of, what I like to think of some comprehensive excellence here at USF, because, before I got here, you might have some games streamed here and there on the website and whatever, but really to the men, you mentioned Commissioner Oresco, when he did the latest deal with ESPN as it related to our television rights for the American Athletic Conference, it gave us all an opportunity to be involved with ESPN Plus, but it encouraged us to all make sure we can try to take care of our own broadcasting, and some do it. There's minimum requirements, but we have taken pride in not only trying to provide the best quality that we can provide, but we have certainly provided the most in terms of really broadcasting every one of our team sports here at home. So now our fans worldwide are now accustomed to watching whether it's baseball, softball, soccer, you name it. We're lacrosse. We're broadcasting it live, and it's on a quality ESPN Plus standpoint. So we think it's been great for our fans. It's been great for to again, as I said, to promote our brand and our student athletes. And it's been a great tool for us. We're able to put some other shoulder programming on there, and it's also been great because now when ESPN comes to town, because we have the kind of control room and abilities that we have there, they like to work with us because they don't have to bring the truck, and we've got the right type of fiber and the right type of a control room to make sure they have an easier and less expensive way to promote to produce that broadcast. And maybe the best thing, Jim, as an alum of this place is, yeah, we've got some key people that help us run the show on our broadcasting department. But man, it's almost exclusively run by students on the production side. And so that's such a great opportunity. And what we should be doing in a higher education institution, obviously, is providing internship and real life experiences for these young people.
With the change of streaming and all of this different thing, what you just spoke of, the young people getting a chance to produce, direct, run camera, audio, getting all of the information of how to do that hands-on, and doing it for a national audience. It's not as
Absolutely.
you're doing, it's not like this is not local cable.
Yeah.
This is national audience. So, I mean, that's a phenomenal plus to have that, and it's a great opportunity for these young people to get better at what they do.
Yeah, I love that. And obviously on the sports broadcasting side, that's really, really important. We have a robust internship program here that we serve both the University of South Florida students primarily, but even the University of Tampa's got a great D2 program just down the road. We have a lot of students there that want to help us, whether it's in event management, marketing, operations, broadcasting, you name it, sports information. So all of it kind of comes into play, but it's we're better to do that than right here in the Tampa Bay market, where there's so many things to do. And then they get that experience and want to get jobs either with us or with one of the pro teams in the market, which is really, really, really cool. So again, between those experiences we can provide, and then we've got an awesome, it's the Vinix School of Sport and Entertainment Management. It's an MBA program here that's, considered one of the best in the country by far. And we get a lot of great employees and folks that work for both, all the pro teams and ourselves. And so finding ways to create, that's one of the special things about college sports or being on a college campus, when you're able to kind of have that kind of involvement with the students.
Well, back in the when I was producing and directing for Sports Channel, and used to have to go do the games over at USF, it was always a treat. But we had schlepped the truck over, the crew, the whole 10 yards. So it's now that I can't imagine the joy that a ESPN producer would have to coming down there and going, hey, all I have to do is plug in and away we go.
I know.
That's
to the control room,
plug and play, babe.
Ready to go.
Yeah, plug and play.
It's also amazing nowadays, as you know, ESPN does so many remote broadcasts of stuff from all over the world and all over the country, doing not only the streamed broadcast on ESPN Plus or doing it for their linear channels, but the in-game productions all being done kind of from a adjacent but separate control room, are all so many new things that not only are we doing, but so many colleges are doing across the country. And I think it's really, really cool. And even with our new stadium coming online in the next 2 years, we're building the control room actually in the same area. That's actually going to, even though the stadium's about 200 yards from there, they'll produce a lot of that straight from in there, which helps us save some, more, more revenue generating real estate over at the stadium that we don't have to take up with the control room, because we can do that in our existing.
Yeah, that can take away stuff. Let's talk about the College Football Playoff Association. Now, you served on as the COO of that group, and now you're on the other side. I personally think they've done a lot of things right. I might be in the minority on that, but I do think they've done a lot of things right. What do you think? Is that the future? Is the CFP the future, or is this concept of a super league the future?
Well, that's a multi-million-dollar question that I think will all be answered in the next couple of years. But I think the great thing is that the CFP has provided the appropriate growth and evolution of the postseason for what's currently referred to as football bowl subdivision football, the FBS. Before CFP, obviously there was the BCS, and that matched up number 1 versus number 2.
Sure.
And that eventually ran its course because people felt that other teams beyond 1 and 2 and didn't necessarily like the way number 1 and number 2 were selected.
Right.
But what I think people sometimes forget is for the 56 years, I think, before the BCS was established, number 1 and number 2 only played like 8 times. And that was totally, so you went from, in essence, the media picking the national champion based on a whole bunch of great games on New Year's Day, which is a cool tradition, but that obviously had to evolve. And the BCS got us to at least playing 1 versus 2, even if there was some faultiness in and who was 1 and 2. So at least in the CFP, when it was first established, when I was able to work for the commissioners there, that was getting up to 4, and then obviously the evolution that just took place now to 12. So I'm hopeful. I would have been in my old seat, and certainly in the current one, I always assumed that there'd be some expansion, and I obviously where I sit now, I hope there will continue to be, because it's so important for us. I'll just speak for where I sit at the University of South Florida. I mean, having the ability to at least have access to the preeminent football event in college football is so important. It's important for recruiting. It's important for our fans. You have to keeping that access to have a chance is so important, and keeps the whole college football ecosystem interested forever. Now, I also fully realize, as a former associate commissioner at the ACC and working with all the conferences in different ways, hey, you can't debate that the current P4 conferences deserve multiple abilities to get multiple teams in there. I mean, they absolutely have that quality that deserve that. So that, as a result, I hope it keeps growing, whether it becomes 16, whether it becomes 2024, who knows? And there's all kinds of logistical challenges to how big you get with academic calendar, with competition with the NFL, with how long the regular season is. So there's a lot of things that aren't as easy as they seem, but I really would hope we could find a expansion number that gives the Power 4 conferences what they deserve and need in terms of the number of teams, but still, hopefully even expanding further what the rest of the FBS can access, because it's critical for us. And we love currently the ability for Coach Golis to go tell our guys, hey, if you win the American, it's not a shoe-in yet. I wish it was. I'd love for all the conference champions to get their champion if it was big enough, if the format was big enough. But at least saying, hey, let's take care of business. If we win the conference, then that's going to at least get us in the conversation, and that's what you shoot for at this point in time.
I only have one problem with the tweaks they made this time. Actually, two. One, the Orange Bowl should never be played in the daytime. That's a nighttime game. Put it back where it belongs.
That's right. Yeah, I can respect
That's number
that.
one. Number
As a
two,
former Miami resident, I can agree with you on that.
Yeah. Then number two is, I used to do the Tournament of Roses parade, and it was timed so that we could get, when it was over, people could get to the Rose Bowl. You take that hour away, that's going to make for,
it's a tight stretch.
You've been there. You've been there. Pasadena is a little town, okay? Get me, folks, it's not big. It's Brandon, okay? With a football stadium. So it does cause a bit of a grief there, but that's my problem, not yours. Michael, we've come to this part of the show, which I deem shameless plugs. Feel free to tell us all about what's going on at USF. I know, some people don't realize this, folks, but after college basketball, there's still a lot of sports to be done.
Oh, absolutely there is. And we're just proud of all the momentum that we've got at the University of South Florida. If you're not familiar with us out there, I mean, we're right there in Tampa, Florida. So the beautiful Tampa Bay region, a big market, great place to live, great place to visit. As I mentioned earlier, an AAU institution, so meaning one of the top highly regarded institutions in all of North America. So we're very proud of that. And an athletic department that's, I think, a lot of fun and showing a lot of success. Our football team has won back-to-back bowl games, and one of only 15 teams that have done that in the last 2 years. We've talked a little bit about our basketball success earlier in this broadcast. We're ranked. We're in the NCAA tournament right now in tennis, in golf. We're in second place in our league in baseball. We're in second place in our league in softball. We just finished our very first year in women's lacrosse, where we're finished second there and heading to our conference tournament right now. So just at the tip of the iceberg, just so much success, a lot of focus on comprehensive excellence. And, we think the future is extremely bright, and we're positioned really well for USF. And again, we know, that things are changing, right? We know that there's a lot of uncertainty. And you can't ever guarantee you're going to stay in this conference or that conference. You can't ever guarantee that. We're hopeful that the American gets the due credit that they deserve for all of our institutions to keep moving up and or being considered amongst the elite, which we think we are. So all this has happened at the same time, but really the only thing you can do that we're doing here at USF is like, hey, let's pour all the resources you possibly can and try to stress that to all of our donors. Like, hey, the time is now, right? You can't because of the uncertainty that we imagine will be sorted out in the next 1 to 5 years. hey, this is the time you've got to show that you want to play at that tier, whatever that tier may be in the future.
Sure.
You want to show success, and you want to show relevance, being both as an institution and as a market. And that's why we're just putting a lot of focus on being the best that we can be, and winning as many championships as we can, keep being great ambassadors of this great university. And we just have a lot of faith and just can't imagine that no matter how it's formatted in the future, who wouldn't want to all those different ingredients of what the University of South Florida offers in terms of again, market, university, greatness, and then obviously a comprehensively excellent athletic department with a brand new stadium that's going to be open in 2027.
Mm-hmm.
Great arena that already exists. I really think when we finish this stadium here, Jim, and we just got the board final approval this afternoon to kind of move forward with that, I think it's one of the finest athletic districts in all the country, because I say that since we are so young, we've been able to control our real estate, and the whole East Campus is really athletically oriented. And so respectfully, when I look at some of the schools that might have had a 100-year start on us and other things, they might have to build a new facility a mile or two away, or, something else, which is still great. But for us to be able to have it all in a nice, concise footprint makes it, when you look 5, 10, 20, 30 years down the road, I think a really efficient training ground for the elite athletes that all Division I athletes are, and certainly the ones we want to have here at USF. So we're just trying to position ourselves for the future. And like I said, keep living by a mantra of building a model athletic department for modern times.
One last thing, and that is your point about the area, right? The Bay Area.
Mm-hmm.
You just finished hosting the women's Final Four. You've hosted the men's Final Four. You've hosted the Frozen Four. You've,
volleyball Final Four.
The CFP,
Yeah.
the CFP championship, played. What was the third one? I think was played, and then you're getting another one here in a couple of years.
Mm-hmm.
So it's an area of the country where champions come, teams come, folks come. They see what USF is, because a lot of the kids train out there whenever they come to play there. So
we love to have championships here, and we have a great sports commission, a Tampa Bay Sports Commission. A guy named Rob Higgins is another USF alum that runs that, and all those events you mentioned are so key to us, and we think it's great.
Well, the future's so bright. Hopefully, we have to wear shades and horns up. So, Michael, thanks for coming by and joining us this afternoon, and we look forward to talking to you again later in the year.
Thank you. It's my pleasure, and we're proud to have a bull like you out there sharing the news. So thank you.
It's always a pleasure, my friend.